Welcome to the Walk and Talk with special guest Cam Campbell. I gotta give you the first question being, what are 3 things Cam can't live without?
3 things?
Yeah.
God, family, and basketball.
That's
in
good.
that specific order.
In that order, I like that. And the next question I got for you is, how old were you when you first dunked?
I was 12 in 7th grade going to 8.
Young buck flying. And with that, let's head to the pod. Peace. Welcome to the Patrick Show. This is season 3, episode 20, the season finale, and we're here with the legend, a guy who walked the campus here at Winston-Salem State University, a pro, a legend, one of one, a winner, I like to say. Cam Campbell, man, it's a privilege, it's an honor having you on the show, man. How you feeling? How you feeling, Dan, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. And obviously with that, here on the Patrick Show, if you're listening, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out our merchandise, our gear on all social medias and platforms. And Cam, I'm gonna give you the floor here. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell those listening a little bit about yourself with the achievements you've been able to receive throughout your journey.
So first of all, my name is Cam Campbell.
Yeah.
A little bit of some of the achievements. I would just say throughout my college career, obviously I started at Lincoln first.
Yep.
All conference, first All-American in school history. Did some things there. Then I transferred, obviously, during COVID. Came to Winston, all conference again, 1,000-point scorer.
Yeah.
We didn't win a championship. We lost to Union in the semifinals.
Okay.
But undefeated here in games, 10-0.
Word.
Southern Division champs. I think we won 20 games. We won 19 that season. 19-win season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, wish I could have ended my career with a championship, but still grateful for how everything went down.
Most definitely. You make some things shake here inside the Gain Center here at Winston-Salem State University. And before going any further, as always here on the Patrick Show, we'll just go ahead and start us off in prayer. So we'll go ahead and bow our heads for a short prayer. Father God, I come to you in a humble manner. Thank you being grateful of all the blessings that you can continue to bless us with, Lord. I just ask and pray, Lord, that we can build upon a relationship with you on the hourly basis, Lord. As it says in Proverbs 18, verse 21, it says, death and power liveth in the tongue, Lord. So I just ask and pray, Lord, that we can be mindful of what we say, Lord, that we don't tear down, that we don't break down one another, but we rather build each other up, Lord, that we can encourage one another, Lord, that we can be ambassador of your word, Lord, that we can encourage, Lord, that we can give you all honor and praise, Lord, that we can speak boldly upon your name, Jesus Christ. In your mighty name that I pray, amen. Amen. And Cam, with that prayer, man, we start after the prayer with a hot take now. And the hot take, I'm hoping you can get this question right. All right. So with this hot take, all jokes aside, Cam, all time, I'm going to say it again, all time, who is the greatest basketball player to walk this earth? Greatest basketball player all time. Who you got? LeBron. I give it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's crazy
LeBron
though,
James.
like, I ain't really a LeBron fan.
Okay.
But like at the end of the day, I'm a hooper, so I respect greatness. Like
there you
ain't
go.
really nothing that LeBron can't do. And I'm also basing it off who I grew up watching.
That's fair.
We
fair.
got glimpses of Jordan.
Yeah.
But I didn't really see all of Jordan's career.
That's fair.
Same thing. Like I seen majority of Kobe's career, but still, like if we talking about greatest player, like top to bottom, all attributes, everything, it got to be Brown. Like it ain't even. Yeah. It ain't even close. Anybody else that say otherwise don't really know hoops for real.
See, Cam, where I got you on the pod, I said this is why I like you right here. He knows what it is, and his slogan, "Strive for greatness." There, I have to agree with you there. LeBron James in my face, in my picture, is my GOAT. I guess I'll say there.
No, for sure.
But we'll kind of backtrack a little bit and talk more about your journey here, Cam. And again, what necessarily motivate you to start basketball, and who were some of your early heroes in the game?
Motivation, I'd probably say to start playing. I didn't really have any motivation to start playing. I think I started playing when I was, I think like 3, 4.
Oh, wow.
Maybe like 4. I think my mom put me in like first like recreational like league.
Yeah, I see.
So at that point it was just, you know, like her putting me in things, trying to keep me involved, trying to keep me occupied.
That's fair.
I was raised by a single mom, so she would just put me in stuff, you know, like stay out of trouble, stay busy. So it was basketball, baseball, soccer. My grandfather made me go to like swim lessons. Football, obviously. So yeah, I would say like to start, I didn't really have any motivation, but I found my motivation and I found my purpose like later on in life.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's awesome to hear. And you being, you know, versatile with various different sports and whatnot there. And again, from your high school page at Trinity Christian, your freshman and senior year, if I'm not mistaken, is that right? Yeah. So there at Trinity Christian, how did that shape your foundation as a certified hooper?
I would say, as far as shaping my foundation, my time that I was there, actually, I lied. My freshman year, I went to Triton High School. And then after my freshman year, that's when I transferred to Trinity. And I was there my sophomore, junior, and senior year, obviously. So I would say what really shaped me, part of it was, obviously, I played with the #1 point guard in the country at the time, Dennis Smith Jr. So, I mean, that was a part of it, you know, just having to really bring your A game every day, having to really compete.
Definitely.
And also, like, I played for a good high school coach, Heath Van Deventer, so he had a lot of connections. We always had college coaches in our practices, D1, D2, D3, JUCO.
Wow.
So it was always, like, you never knew who was going to be in practice. You never knew who was going to be in our locker room, pregame speech, like, we never knew who he was going to run into after the game. So it was just pretty much me just getting in the headspace early of, all right, like, I got to bring my A game every night. Like, obviously in this game, like, you're not going to play your best every night, but it was just more so practice, games, like anything. Like, you just really had to compete. And that's really kind of what, I already had that competitive edge in me before, but that's kind of what, like, put it over the top. Like, all right, everybody here good, everybody here, like, for a reason. Like, don't nobody just go to Trinity just to go. So it was just like, if you here to play basketball, then it's like, all right, come in, do what you got to do, and everything else take care of itself.
That's impressive, you know, similar to this in a way, you know, being able to play underneath the bright lights, you know, being prepared, not knowing who's watching you, but knowing you got to give your A game, like you mentioned, giving your full effort day in and day out, of course, there at Trinity. And clearly that prepared you for the next level. And as you mentioned earlier, your underclassmen years, you took your talents to Lincoln University. And from there, I guess with your couple years there, how did that, help with your overall growth?
Well, I ain't gonna lie. Me going to Lincoln was probably, like one of the more pivotal points, like, in my life, because obviously that was the furthest I ever been away from home. I was all the way in Pennsylvania. And then when I got there, like, as a freshman, everything was a culture shock, like food, language, the weather.
Really?
Like, everything was a culture shock. So I was forced to grow up, like, real quick. And that's just off the court. On the court, it was just more so, like, the way they play the game up there was different than how we played in the South. It's a lot more talking, a lot more physicality, you know, a lot more ISO. So it was just me more so like, all right, like, I'm here now, like, I got to hold my own. I'm up here by myself, like, no family. I'm just on camp, like, lonely, no friends, no nothing yet. So it was just me just really finding out who I am, like, as a person, away from being home. Like, even when I was in high school, I always told my mom I wanted to go to school outside of North Carolina. So, you know, like, I could just really, like, grow up and just kind of, you know, come into my own as a man. So me going to Lincoln, that was real. That played a huge part in my career.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. And like you said, being it all the way out there in Pennsylvania, certainly you having to hold your own there. And you mentioned some of the challenges and some of the setbacks you faced there. But while you were there, how were you able to overcome those challenges?
I would say the biggest thing that probably helped me overcome was just knowing that I had a lot of people back home, like in North Carolina, like watching me, depending on me, and then, like, as far as just being an inspiration and a motivation to the youth or to the younger ones that's coming after me. Like, okay,
Right.
I made it out. Now, like, even though I'm going through a little bit of some adversity, like, it's on me, like, to figure it out. Like, won't nobody gonna come to Lincoln and save me or be like, okay, this is what you need to do. Like, that was just part of me growing up. So, I mean, I embraced it, and it was, to me, I think that's what really kind of shaped me to the person, the man I am today.
Yeah, amen to that there. And obviously transitioning from there to here at Winston-Salem State, where you've played out your remaining collegiate career. I guess, you know, that was obviously during a time period where the transfer portal wasn't nearly as big as it is today.
Yeah.
But also, in addition to that, that also was during the COVID-19 protocols there, which impacted us all, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
But specifically to you, how did that impact your basketball and personal career?
Man, it's crazy. Like, I got I got stories with this COVID thing, man. So first, I'll start with I ended up leaving Lincoln and coming to Winston. Obviously, I got in the transfer portal. Was hearing from a bunch of like D1s, D2s, but then I found out that because I hadn't graduated from Lincoln yet, and I was already going into my senior year, that I couldn't go Division I. So that's like a lot of people don't know that. Like that took all the Division I's off the table.
That's crazy.
Like I would have had to go to a Division I, sit out again, and then I would have been able to play. But so yeah, that took all the D1s out the table. So then it came down to a decision of like, all right, if I'm gonna go D2 or stay at this level, like I'm gonna go somewhere like where I'm really comfortable, especially for my last season. I'm gonna go somewhere where I'm comfortable, and I'm gonna go somewhere where me and the coaching staff can be on the same page. So obviously at the time, I felt like Winston was the best place for me to finish out my career. Came here the year that I got here, we were supposed to play, but that was COVID. So I ended up sitting out again. So now that's 2 years I done sat out back to back. And so I'm just, you know, like going, like you said, like it impacted all of us. I'm just going through it. Just trying to figure like, all right, like why God got me going through this. Obviously I'm not the only person going through it, but from my perspective, I had just sat out the season before. So it's like now I'm sitting out 2 years. I'm starting to question like, is basketball even for me anymore? Like, should I still? It's been 2 years. Like, in basketball, that's a long time.
Yeah,
like,
it
2
is.
years is a long time. So it was just more so just trying to figure out like, okay, number one, when am I gonna get back on the court? And two, when I do get back on the court, like, I got to make up for all the time that I done missed and all the time, you know, that I hadn't been able to play. And then fast forward, even once I finished my time here at Winston, like I found out I still had another year of eligibility because of COVID that I didn't use. So that's what I'm saying, man. COVID for me, like it kind of like spun my life around inside out, like however you want to look at it. But I just feel like it all kind of happened for a reason. Like it ain't no telling where I'd be at today if it weren't for COVID. But I also don't think I'd have came in contact with the people or made the connections I made if it weren't for COVID. Like I'd have never ended up at Winston, or if I had already graduated, I might have been at a Division I. So it's a lot of factors that play into it. But one thing I learned, one thing I'm still learning is like you can't go back and change the past. So only thing you can do is just go back and learn from it. You can't really go back and change it. So that's really it, man. That's really how COVID, you know, shaped where I am today. Like it played a pivotal part in that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's well said there. And it's beautiful really to see, you know, with those trials and tribulations that you face, staying the course of the way, staying faithful and believing what was to come. And obviously with that, that year in 2022, you, the team won the CIAA Southern Division regular season championship. Give us an idea, what were some moments throughout that season that you remember or cherish?
Moments throughout that season. I would probably say, obviously my first home game in games. That was an experience. I had played in games before, but it was on the opposing team.
Side, I see.
To be on the home team, obviously it felt different. Playing in the first Chris Paul HBCU tournament in Connecticut. We played in that, lost to Union in the championship. What were some other things that happened? I had to miss 2 games that season.
Really?
and it was probably, well, one of them was probably one of the biggest games. We played John C. Smith at Smith, and then we played Livingstone here.
Oh, wow.
I didn't get to play that game.
Ah.
I wasn't really tripping off Smith because I had played in Smith before.
Okay.
But I hadn't played Livingstone here, so I missed that. That kind of had me feeling some type of way. But I'll probably say the biggest moment probably from that year, we played Fayetteville State here.
Yeah.
At home, and I think both our records was the same, and we was both tied for first place, and it was also for the Southern Division.
Okay.
And it was probably, the game was like back and forth, like
right.
all games.
One of those games.
Yeah, and my homeboy, like my best friend John, he hit a buzzer beater, and like that's the craziest and probably the livest college game like I done ever played in. Like
that's
this
amazing.
whole gym, it was so loud, like I had a headache after this game. Like, joint was crazy. So that was probably those was probably some of the best moments. And then it's crazy, us losing in the tournament.
Okay.
That for me, that was probably the biggest moment of the season, just because that's when I knew, like, all right, like a whole new chapter about to start. Like college is over. Like now it's time for you to go do what you've been preparing for your whole life, and that's to be a professional. So a lot of ups and downs that season, but that's come with it, and I don't regret nothing that happened.
No, I mean that was a great transition heading into the professional world, like you said there. But before the professionals, you were able to attend the HBCU All-Star Game Dream Classic. How was that experience in helping you reach the next level in the pros?
Well, actually, I didn't play in that until after my rookie year in Portugal.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So when I left here, I played in the it was the HBCU North Carolina South Carolina game in Greensboro.
Yeah.
I was MVP of that, and then I was on the watch list for the HBCU All-Star game that was in, I think it was in New Orleans that year.
I want to say that.
Yeah,
right.
It was in New Orleans that year. I was on the watch list for that. Didn't make it for whatever reason.
Really?
Yeah, like nobody can still. Yeah, I ain't even gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Should have been there, but I won't there.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's all I got to say. So yeah, the Dream Classic was in New York. I played in that after my rookie year.
Okay.
In Portugal. It was cool, obviously playing against other, HBCU players, some current pros at the time as well, like myself. So it was a cool experience. We played on Rucker Park, legendary, historic. So yeah, it was real cool. Good experience for it.
Yeah, that's great. And clearly playing overseas, like you said there in Portugal or Ukraine, I mean, that's obviously no small feat. And what were some of those bigger adjustments you had to make compared to playing here in the States?
For me, man, it always be the off the court, like time difference, travel, schedule, family, like little thing. Like my rookie year in Portugal, my first year, like the whole month I was there. Like I didn't know any of this when I got before I went. When I got there, after the first month, I was there August, September, like my phone bill was $2,000. Like nobody because you got to think when you over there, if you call back over here, it counts as an international call.
Does.
So I'm just calling people calling me, like, I'm like, yo, y'all got to FaceTime me, hit me on WhatsApp. People still calling my phone, things of that nature.
That's crazy.
That was part of the reason in me changing my number at the time. So yeah, it was just more so just really everything, the way they go about life in the European countries, the food, the way they drive, like everything. It was just a real same. It was kind of like me leaving high school and going to Lincoln. This time I was just on the other side of the world.
Right.
That was really the only difference. So it was just more so, just dealing with the off the court stuff in that sense. And then on the court, when I was in Portugal, and all three of the countries I played in, the play styles have been different. So when I was in Portugal, it was a lot more, a lot of like pick and rolls, a lot of like high ball screens, a lot of handoffs.
Sure.
Things like that. So it was just getting adjusted to the playing style. When I got to Portugal, they moved me to point. So like my reads, my shots, everything.
Totally different.
It was a lot different. So I was already still trying to figure out like, okay, when do my shots come in?
Right.
When to get my teammates involved. Like naturally, my mentality is a scorer. So I was dealing with that as a rookie. Like, all right, this might not be your time to score, or you might got to get these guys involved first. So just dealing with little stuff like that.
That's fair.
And then just trying to figure it out and just going through everything that we go through throughout the season. And then when I was in Portugal, I got there in August, left in December. I had a real bad ankle injury, so that ended my rookie season. Yeah. I had a real bad ankle injury. Came home in December, did all my rehab, did the stuff I had to do for the rest of the season and over the summer. And then that's how I ended up in Ukraine last season for the first half, then came home again, and then finished out in Estonia.
Yeah, I got you there. I mean, and like you said there, through those difficulties that you did face, and in a sense, the Lincoln experience kind of prepared you in a way. But my biggest takeaway with that story you had was the phone bill. I mean, obviously with that, you know, Cam never switched up, you know, it was just the phone bill was a bit crazy, so he had to change his phone number. That's all. But with that, Cam, I gotta ask you, you know, with the various experiences you've had overseas playing pro level, obviously you need the help of a team, specifically a sports agency. Like, how much involvement do they really make behind the scenes in helping you choose your next team?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, yo. So I be having a lot of dudes like reach out to me about like agents, stuff like that.
Really?
Especially like some of the guys coming out of college, stuff like that.
Okay.
The biggest thing I tell them is like, your agent or whoever represents you at the time, like that plays a major part in it. And like I've seen players, or I've seen guys that really didn't have professional stats, or you know, like stats that would stick out and would say that they're a pro. I've seen like them sign with some decent agents, and because of who they're assigned to or who they represented by, then they'll get certain jobs. So usually, if you have like an average resume or not really a resume or stats that don't really stick out, then you probably need to have like a real strong or real well-connected agent. But then if you have a real good resume or crazy stats, then the real good agent's gonna come after you. So it's kind of just like, just kind of maneuvering, just weaving out like what agents are for you, who's not for you, being able to read contracts, negotiations, player agreements.
That's important.
Just really understanding like what comes with it. Like when you get to the professional, it's a business to it now.
Right.
Like you're not just making like basketball decisions. You're making basketball, life, family. Like you're making all type of decisions now. And it's a lot of stuff that you got to take into account before you make certain decisions. So making decisions as far as like picking an agent, it's a lot of stuff. Like you got to do your research, find out who they represented, who they currently are representing, what jobs they've been able to get them. So it's really a lot that play into it. For me, like I've dealt with good agents, dealt with bad agents. I've seen kind of some of the ins and outs of like how they do business.
Really?
I've seen the difference between European agents and American agents. Like a lot of people know, like it's a difference.
There's a difference with that. Okay.
So it's just really, man, it's just a lot to it that a lot of people don't really understand. It's just one of them you can't really explain or talk about it until you either been in it or you've already gone through it.
Yeah, I see. I mean, that's certainly eye-opening there, the differences. And at the end of the day, it's a business decision there.
Sure.
And it really shows how important that agency does in helping you in the next step, in the next maneuver, in a sense. But I guess from your various experiences in the pro level, what have been some of the key lessons you've taken away from it so far?
Key lessons, I would say, always stay professional. No matter what, even if you in a situation where you can't control the outcome, like just stay professional.
Good.
Sometimes, obviously, as players, it's not in our control, but try to leave every situation as healthy as possible.
That's important. Yes.
Especially like if you about to enter free agency or if you're not re-signing with the team you're currently on. Try to leave as healthy as possible. And just really, you know, like just not taking what we do for a living for granted. If that makes sense.
No,
like,
that does.
Especially as like not even just basketball players, athletes in general. Like we get paid to do what we love and do what we want to do every day, all day.
So, everyone can say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like always just keeping in mind like, okay, like this is a privilege, like this is something God is allowing me to do. This is something that God is blessing me with. So it's just more so just being in the headspace of not getting too low, not getting too high, just staying even keeled at your lowest, your highest moments. That's probably like one of my biggest lessons. Like no matter what, if it's good, at some point it's gonna come to an end, and if it's bad, at some point it's gonna come to an end. It's just about how you handle it and how you deal with it when it do come to an end. And I think like that's what really define, you know, players, like our character, our demeanor, things of that nature, like how we deal, how we fight with adversity. Like that's usually like the kind of player you are, or that's usually the kind of person or the kind of man that you are. So those probably been some of the biggest lessons I've took from playing professional. Don't really have anything to do with putting the ball in the basket. It's really all some of the off the court, some of the characteristics and some of the traits that, you know, we possess as humans.
Yeah, that is vital, being level-headed right there. And that kind of leads into a different segment. We'll have a little bit more fun here, Cam. I know we talked about it in the hot take, but are there any specific teams or certain players in the NBA level that you follow or are a fan of?
Teams, I never really follow NBA teams just because players always getting traded.
Okay, that's fair.
It's kind of like, okay, if you got a certain team, if you only like 2 players on that team, they might be on a new team. So it's like, now do you switch teams? Yeah, so I don't never really have a favorite team or anything like that. But I will say this season, I've really been following the Celtics. Like,
Celtics, yeah.
I don't think people that understand basketball understand like what I say when I say this. Like, I don't think people understand how good of a team they are.
Yeah.
Like they
chemistry.
From any team that I've seen, like they don't really lack anything. Defense, rebounding, size, IQ, experience, coaching staff, toughness, grit. Like they got everything it takes to win when they have a healthy basketball team. So and they actually play a good brand of basketball.
They
obviously
do.
Outside of shooting a lot of threes, but they play a good brand of basketball. So that's one team like that I'll if they have a game coming on, I'll try to watch it, or at least try to catch the highlights.
Check in.
But as far as players, one of my favorite players is Dame. Not because of his game though. Like obviously, I love the way Dame played, and I used to try to imitate my game off of him. But it's really more so like I've studied him, like his off the court, how he go about things, how he's used to always having that chip on his shoulder.
Yes,
how
he does.
He's used to, you know, just being in his own space, always wanting to work out by himself, always wanting to do whatever it takes to get that extra little advantage. And he just got like a resilience and, you know, like a certain demeanor to him that like, okay, when he step on the court, like, you know, he finna try to take your head off. So as
he
far
does,
as like
he does though.
Mentality and, you know, imposing their will, like as a player and someone having their chip on their shoulder, like Dame is probably one of my favorite players to study. But as far as like play style and game wise, right now I've always watched James Harden just because I like to draw fouls a lot. So it's always been James Harden, CJ McCollum. I've been watching a lot more Shai Gilgeous-Alexander lately.
Yeah, he moves different.
Yeah, one of my old trainers told me that me and him had some similarities. So I've been trying to pick his game apart. Shai, Harden, CJ. Who else off the top of my head? That's really it as far as like consistently, you know, studying like what they really do. And I try to watch players, you know, like that I play like with Harden, he draw a lot of fouls. Right. I draw a lot of fouls. CJ, he got a lot of counters, herky-jerky, pump fakes, sidestep threes, a lot of that. And then same thing with Shai, like he scored all 3, 4, 5 levels, like post up, free throw, mid range,
it's ridiculous.
Flow, everything. So I just really try to watch players, you know, like that I can take something away from their game and it'll fit right into mine.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, that's part of the game that, you know, that really does push you to the next level, pro level of studying, you know, watching others and figuring out how you can take some of their tools and add it to your tool set in a sense. And speaking of Dame, it's about that Dame time already. Head into the big time question now. Cam, are you ready for the big time question?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, let's do it. So for the big time question, Cam, I gotta ask you, you know, we've spoken about your, you know, your past, we've spoken about your present, but in the future side of things, what's the next phase for you in your career?
I'd say the next phase.
Yeah.
Right now, still in the middle of contract negotiations with my agent. So number one right now, the priority and the first step is getting with the team. But after that, just really showing what I can do and doing it at a high level and just doing it like very consistently. Like I'm going through, I'm not gonna say going through, but I've been dealing like with a lot of stuff that hasn't been in my control here over like the past year or two, especially with this basketball overseas stuff. So it's just really, I just feel like it's just been really, it's been God testing me like to see how bad I want it, or to see like, am I gonna give up or try to find an easier way out. So all it's been doing is just really, you know, like they say, adding fuel to the fire, just really just keeping that chip on my shoulder, like, all right, like, you never know when your last game gonna be. And I just feel like right now I'm at a point to where I don't even have to prove anything to anybody. It's just more so of, you know, proving to myself, like, all right, like, yo, you got what it takes. Like, now it's really on you to, you know, like, just go out there and show to the world that you belong where everybody know that you're supposed to be.
Agreed.
So just really, man, just this next phase for me, just really about just really like just staying down, doing what I got to do, and just putting myself in the best position to go out there and perform every single night at a high level so that I can take care of all the people that I love. That's really, that's probably the most important thing for me right now. Like just being in the best position and taking advantage of whatever opportunity I'm put in, so that, you know, like I can set myself up and set my family up and set up the people that I love to be taken care of. That's probably the most important thing to me right now.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great there. And I'm certainly going to be, you know, rooting you on, Cam, see success heading in your way there. And as always, if you're listening, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for listening all the way to the end, as this episode was a lot of fun on my end, of course. And I'm going to give you the floor one last time, Cam. You know, if there's that one high school athlete, maybe he goes to Trinity Christian like yourself, or maybe he doesn't, but there's that one athlete who's watching this video, is seeking inspiration, seeking motivation and pursuit to the next level, what words of encouragement could you give to them?
Words of encouragement. Don't be a follower. Don't be a follower. And when I say that, it's not even, you know, just trying to be different from everyone. It's just more so just because everyone else is doing it, if it don't fit your purpose and like your life and it don't align with everything that you got going on, it's okay to say no, or it's okay like to not hop on the trend or hop on the wave. So that for sure. And then as far as like basketball, if it's something that you really want to do or see yourself doing long term, then start taking it serious now. Like no matter what level you at, high school, middle school, whatever, like start taking it serious now, because as you can see, it's a lot more competitive now.
It
NIL, transfer portal, that new JUCO rule with them giving them 4 years.
That's gonna be a different beast.
It's gonna get real competitive. So it ain't really gonna be no room to slack or to try to figure out like, is this something that I want to do? Like you kind of got to make your mind up now just to keep your foot in the door, or to try to get that extra advantage. So just take it serious. Listen, like just be a sponge, like soak up all the knowledge that you can. That's another thing like I've learned over the past like year or two, is don't be afraid to take knowledge from your peers, or don't really be afraid to know, like it's okay to like not talk sometimes. Like sometimes it's just good to just listen. Like, just listen. Take in what you can take in, comprehend it, and the biggest thing with that is whatever you listen and comprehend, just apply it to your everyday life. Like that's what makes us better, like as humans and as players. Like just having consistency, just having a routine, and you know, just going about everything the right way, and just keeping a pure heart. Like that's probably the biggest thing, like just keeping a pure heart. If you keep a pure heart in whatever you do, like eventually it's gonna work out. And one thing I learned, like it's not gonna work out like when you want it to work out. It's gonna work out when it's supposed to work out.
Amen to that.
If you keep all them things in mind and you just keep God first, obviously keep your family in mind, and just try to be a better version of yourself every single day, then like you're gonna win at life. Like I feel like that's the story of like just trying to make yourself better and trying to make the people that you care about better people every single day. That's probably the biggest thing.
That's good. That's phenomenal to hear there. You know, silence is powerful, and obviously listening is sometimes needed more than speaking.
Yeah.
And of course, a quote I love to use is, you know, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason there. And again, you say also, you know, not to be a follower, you know, also being a believer in Christ, we're told to be different. You know, told to be light of this world. So
yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing, like with our generation. Like everybody want to do what somebody else doing it, and if you ask them why they doing it, they can't really give you a reason as to why they doing it. So, you know, just being don't be a follower, be your own person. And one thing that I learned when I was in Portugal, actually, one of the guys that was representing me and managing me at the time, he was just like, yo, when you become a pro, like, even before you become a pro, like, you can't be good at something, you can't be great, like, you gotta master it. So whatever it is, like, don't be good, don't be great, like, master it, keep doing it. Like, it's okay to keep doing the same thing every single time. Like, that keeps you, as a basketball player, that keeps you in rhythm. That gives you a sense of mentally knowing, like, okay, I do this every single day. Like, this is something that I'm comfortable with doing. So that's one thing that I really been trying to live by lately, as far as like my workouts and anything I do basketball related. Like, don't be good, don't be great at it. Just master it. Just master it, and just keep it pushing. And once you master it, try to teach someone else how to master what you've already mastered.
Yeah,
so
that's spectacular. You know, not only being good, mastering it, and then teaching it. You know, being that teacher there.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of fun here on this Patrick Show, the season finale, season 3, episode 20. I got one heck of a guest here at Winston-Salem State. So as always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as we head out, Cam, we just say peace on 3. It sounds good with you?
For sure.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Peace. All right. Bye, bing, bye, boom.